So today is the 21st of December 2024, and I am reading from the Lankavatara Sutra, translated from Sanskrit by Deceased Taro Suzuki, page 146, I think it's chapter 2, Roman numeral LXXI. Further, Mahamati said, it is told by the Blessed One, again, that true knowledge is gained independent of any object supporting it, and whatever statements one makes about it are no more than thought construction, and that as this thought construction is not to be seized as real, the seizing act of the seizer itself ceases, and when there is thus no seizing, knowledge, which is known as discrimination, no more evolves. Now, Blessed One, how is transcendental knowledge unattainable? It is unattainable because of our not recognizing the generality and individual of things, their pluralities and their unities. Or is it unattainable because of such ideas as individuality, generality, multiplicity, and self-nature overpower one another? Or is it unattainable because of the obstruction presented by a wall, a mountain, an earthwork, a rampart, or by earth, wind, water, and fire? Or because of the remoteness or nearness? Or does the knowledge fail to obtain its object of cognition because of the imperfection of the sense organs due to youth, age, or blindness? If, Blessed One, knowledge is not attainable because of our not recognizing individuality, generality, unity, and plurality, then, Blessed One, such cannot be transcendental knowledge. It is to be called ignorance, ajnana, for in spite of the fact that objects are to be known as before us, we do not know them. Again, if knowledge is unattainable because such ideas as individuality, generality, multiplicity, and self-nature overpower one another, such is ignorance, ajnana. 170. Blessed One, is it not transcendental knowledge where there is something to be known? Blessed One, knowledge evolves. Where there is nothing, nothing evolves. Knowledge is possible only where there is a correspondence with that which is known. Again, if knowledge is unattainable because of the obstruction presented by a wall, mountain, earthwork, rampart, or earth, water, wind, fire, or due to the farness or nearness, or on account of the imperfection of the sense organ, as in the case of an infant, the aged, the blind, such as is unattainable is not transcendental knowledge? Is it ignorance for the object to be known? Is there but the knowing faculty is lacking? Said the Blessed One, Mahamati, such knowledge is unattainable, is not ignorance. Such is transcendental knowledge. Mahamati, it is not ignorance. It is not because of the deeper sense that I say this, for when we know that there is knowledge gained independent of any supporting object, whatever statements we make about it are no more than thought constructions. That transcendental knowledge is unattainable is due to the recognition that there is nothing in the world but is seen of the mind, and that these external objects to which being and non-being are predicated are non-existence. As this knowledge is unattainable, there is no evolving of knowing and known, and thus the true emancipation is realized. There is unattainable knowledge, which is transcendental, but logistics being under the habit energy of the wrong reasoning, which has been carried on since beginningless time, as to existence and non-existence, are unable to know all this, and while not knowing it, they are concerned with such notions as external objects, substances, form, indications, existence, and non-existence. And yet they declare that the cessation of discrimination is a state of mind only. As they are tenaciously clinging to the thought of an ego soul and all that belongs to it, they are really unable to understand what is meant by the doctrine of mind only. 171. And go on discriminating, knowing, and known. Because of their discriminating knowing and known, they think of things as existence and non-existence. In declaring that transcendental knowledge is unattainable, abide in nihilism. So it is said, if transcendental knowledge fails to see an objective world which lies before it, such is ignorance and not knowledge. This teaching belongs to the logicians. Logicians. We'll go with that. Logicians. 59. If transcendental knowledge fails to see, though various obstructions far and near, its own unique object that does not present itself as an object, such as to be called wrong knowledge. 60. If transcendental knowledge fails to know, on account of defective senses that infancy, old age, and minus, its own subject which is present, such as to be called wrong knowledge. LXX 11. Further, Mahamati, the ignorant and simple-minded keep on dancing and leaping, fascinated with their wrong reasonings, falsehoods, and discriminations, and are unable to understand the truth of self-realization and its discourse in words, clinging to the external world which is seen of the mind itself. They cling to the study of the discourses which are a means, and do not know properly how to ascertain the truth of self-realization, which is the truth unspoiled by the fourfold proposition. Said Mahamati, Blessed One, it is just as you say. Pray tell me, Blessed One, about the characteristic features of the truth of self-realization and about the discourses on it, whereby I and other Bodhisattva Mahasattvas in near future time, understanding what they are, may keep ourselves away from the wrong logicians such as the philosophers and those who belong to the vehicles of the Shravaka Prayika Buddha. 172. Said the Blessed One, then Mahamati, listen well and reflect well within yourself. I will tell you. Certainly, Blessed One, said Mahamati, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, and giving ear to the Blessed One said this to him. Mahamati, there are two forms of teaching the truth attained by the Tathagatas, Arhats, fully enlightened ones, of the past, present, and future. They are the teaching by discourses and the teaching by the establishment of self-realization. What is meant by the studying of the discourses is this, Mahamati. There are various materials and canonical tests and discourses by which sentient beings are taught according to their dispositions and inclinations. What then is the truth of self-realization by which the yogins turn away from the discrimination by discriminating what is seen of the mind itself? There is an exalted state of inner attachment which does not fall into the dualism of oneness and otherless, of bothness and non-bothness, which goes beyond the Citta, Manyas, and Mano Vijnana, which has nothing to do with logic, reasoning, theorizing, and illustrating, which has never been tasted by any bad logicians, by the philosophers, Shravakas, Pratyeka Buddhas, who have fallen into the dualistic view of being and non-being. This I call self-realization. Thus, Mahamati is what characterizes the truth of self-realization and discoursing on it. And in this, you and the other Bodhisattva Mahasattvas are to discipline themselves. So it is said, I have two forms of teaching the truth, self-realization and discoursing. I discourse with the ignorant and disclose self-realization to the yogins. Whoa. Oh man, that's something to say. Oh dear. I can appreciate that, but some people might not want to hear if they're sitting in class being talked to because they're ignorant. Oh, yes. Okay. We'll see you next time.